Alright, so been trying to do a video for 2 weeks, and let's see what we can get done tonight. Was too tired yesterday after mowing, and so a few things going on. Not a lot going on, but the first thing I want to talk about, give you an update on Mike the Rancher. On July 4th I got an email from him wishing me a happy 4th of July with a couple nice pictures of some elk out in the lowlands, and saying that just hoping that I was having a good 4th and everything was good. So as far as Mike the Rancher goes, looks like he's doing good, and whatever deal he struck, just back and forth, whatever deal he was able to strike with the Sasquatch seemed to be working. So that's update number one. The sketch that Sibylla and I'm working on, or she's doing for me, it's coming along. I'll, like up in the corner, post a little picture of how far we've got. We're getting pretty close to being done, and I'll work with her the next week or two and get that finished. So there's a couple things that we're working on. I'm working on a couple books still, and as usual, always busy. Coming up here on the 24th is the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference, the one in Gatlinburg, and I'm going to be there. My good friend Dave Pilates is speaking, and I also run Moorhead speaking, so I'm definitely going to be there to see them and support them. So I'll be up there. If you're going, look me up, and we'll shoot the bull and chew some fat. And so that's the update there. Now, I've been getting a lot of emails. A couple of things have people been asked about. Portals are one of them, and the portal video is really kind of got a lot of things going. So I've been asked a lot of questions. Like one guy asked, could you enter the portals barefoot because you're grounded? And which, first you're thinking, what? But it makes sense. But here's what I can tell you about the portals. I'm not an expert. I got one on the back trail. I've got a couple on the back trail, and you can see what they're doing, and they are what they are. But I'm no scientist, so now I've studied a little bit and trying to figure out what's going on. And there's kind of two schools of thought. And one school of thought is that you can open them in certain locations, as far as maybe not, in other words, it's not a fixed area, but if it's around, they can be opened around rocks and around water and that sort of thing. And if you know the right frequencies, you can open them. There's also another school of thought. I've watched some Christian broadcasting stuff where they're, well, not Christian broadcasting, but these people are Christians, and these certain people came out of satanic ritual abuse and out of the demonic world, the satanic world, the child trafficking world. They were saved out of that. They were rescued, and they were used. And one of the ladies that was used had the ability to sing the songs, this is her claims, and open the portals. Now, her claim was God created the portals, that there's a portal system, and there's one that is worldwide, that goes parallel, goes along the ground. In other words, it's from country to country, from place to place. And there's another set of portals that go from here to the throne room of God. And of course, those portals are guarded by angels, and only certain angels and certain beings can pass. Now, the ones that traverse the earth are different, and they can be opened by human beings, and human beings can travel through them, and it's instantaneous. It's like on the movie. it's the speed of light. It's, you enter a portal in Florida and you're in California in the blink of an eye. But the portal system is dangerous because the fallen angels and demonic beings can also, guard and get, if you open a portal, they can get in there with you. And so, and the portals can also be dangerous as in radiation, and they do bad stuff to your body. So that's, none of that's, that's just what the research I've been doing. And then the other way deal about portals is, if you have, you can just open one anywhere you want to if you know how. My only thing is, okay, you open a portal, well, where's it going? A lot of people think it's going into the spiritual dimension, and it's not like a point-to-point portal, but it's a doorway into the other dimension, the unseen realm of the spirit world, and that very well could be. And there could be more than one type of portal. There could be these transportation portals. It's like Edgar, the scientist that Steve Ishdahl, talked about. He saw that Sasquatch jumping up and down and then disappearing, looked like he was trying to get into something, and then, he, had missing time, and his cell phone had 32 different welcome back messages from 32 different countries. Well, that kind of lends support of a transportation portal system that the Sasquatch got him into and zipped him all over the world in seconds, or however long he took, and then brought him back. Here's the Touch and Go boys, KC-135Gs, I guess. Yeah, KC-135G. And so, that's, I don't know. I mean, we know portals exist. We know scientists are studying them. About 99.9% sure that fallen angels and the Sasquatch know how to open them and use them. Other than that, we're kind of in the dark. But just had several emails about them and asking my opinion. And like I said, I got the video, but the video's the video. It looked like a circle of water. I don't know what else to tell you. The event horizon, and like I said, when you're looking into it, it looks like, it looked like a big giant droplet of round water, and then the silverish being that was in it, was of course out of focus. And I don't have any explanation. It was near, it was beside an outcrop. Here's the thing, this think in your head. It was beside an outcropping of rock, and also right beside a stream that runs year round. So you got your water, and you got your granite. It was granite, it's rock. I believe it's granite. It is granite. So, there's, pieces to the puzzle. So that's my spiel about portals, and that's kind of, what information I have there. Now, home visits, or people keep emailing me that are having encounters in places they can't believe they're having, or having weird stuff happen, like behind apartment complexes. I've been asked questions I don't understand. I live in a neighborhood, and I found footprints. I live in a neighborhood, and I found rock stacks. I live in a neighborhood, and I heard one. I live in a neighborhood, and I saw one. I guess everybody needs to understand these Sasquatch people can live anywhere they want to live. There's no rules that say, oh, you have to live in the woods, or you have to live deep in the, Sierra Nevadas, or up in, in Washington State, or somewhere in British Columbia. They can survive and adapt and hide and live anywhere. Period. You gotta wrap your brain around that. They're stealthy enough to hide in plain sight. They have mechanisms where they can get in and out of places that we would never dream. I think they can use this. I think they do use the sewer systems. I think they do use blighted areas in big cities where no one goes. I think they do associate sometimes with the homeless. And because, they know that no one's going to believe the homeless, and the homeless bother them, and, they don't bother each other. They just kind of coexist. So I think everybody wants to have these what's the word I'm looking for? We all have this, our preconceptions of what a Sasquatch should or shouldn't be. And that's just wrong. It is. You cannot put these things in a box. You cannot say all look like this, or they all look like that, or they're all this. There's genetic diversity. That brings a diversity in abilities and strengths. And also, they're just like us, so they have will and intellect. They think, they have emotions, they have feelings. There's situations going on in their lives. There's love, there's hate, there's warfare. It's all there with them. So, when we have a chance to encounter them, who knows what's going on in their life, so to speak. And so, and like I said, they live in my little city. And they've got a little system. I've kind of caught on to what they're doing, but I'm sure they've got, things like this set up all over the place. So, I guess what I'm saying is you need to open your mind, open your thinking. You can't think, traditionally on these things. You can't take what the mainstream's told you about the Sasquatch. That's going to get you is chasing your tail in a circle. You got to open your mind. You got to think outside the box. You got to think, with an open mind about what they are and what's going on. So, don't be shocked if you see one in the city. Don't be shocked if you see signs in the neighborhood. And that's just the way it is. And I'm no expert, and every day I learn something new. I'm telling you, every day I learn something new. I read something that I haven't ever read before. Sasquatch is the gateway drug to the truth about what is going on with everything. Another thing I found interesting, talking about hiding the truth. The other day, I was trying to do a reference to the Sasquatch genome study. And so I was and I forgot the URL. So I went to Google and I typed in Sasquatch genome project. And Google, if you don't think something's going on, the first 4 pages of Google search were all negative against the study. In fact, the very first one was a book that someone I will not name, who, in my opinion, is a charlatan and an idiot. That person's book came up. He wrote, or she wrote, or it wrote a book, poo-pooing the study. And of course, this book's a bunch of trash, and I wouldn't waste my money on it. But with that being said, it's interesting that it did not used to be that way. So obviously, Steve Ishdahl, me and David and M.K. Davis and other people, Melba Ketchum, are having enough of an influence on the mainstream that they feel, strong enough that they need to skew the search engine. So all anybody sees, if they Google the Sasquatch genome study, the Sasquatch genome project, Melba Ketchum, whatever, it all comes up. The first 3 or 4 pages is all negative stuff, 100% negative. Do it yourself. And so I think that's interesting, because you don't try to squash something that had, if it was a quack study and it was worthless and it wasn't believable, and it was all a bunch of hogwash, then why do you need to squash it? Why do you need to push it down to the 3rd or 4th, 5th page and hide it? It doesn't make any sense. It's bunk, right? And anybody of any intelligence could read about it and tell it it's all a bunch of bunk. But obviously, let's not be as bunky as we once thought it was. So yeah, when they start suppressing information, then you know you're right over the target. Because if it is garbage, if it is quack theory, if it is whatever, then there's no need to suppress it. So, just found that interesting. I'm trying to think. Deterrent. I still get. I'm still getting. I'm going to get a sip of tea. Still getting emails about deterrents. From a practical standpoint, my first line of defense is either going to be trail cameras in a fence pattern. In other words, around your house, a trail camera watching a trail camera watching a trail camera watching a trail camera watching a trail camera. And, put it around the outside of your house, whether you put it on the side of the house or you have a fence, or if you put it on, drive some post in the ground. Some way where the cameras watch the cameras, where there's, if they sneak up on one camera, it's going to get them. Because it would take, if you had even 5, 6 cameras, it would take 6 Sasquatch to simultaneously sneak up on the cameras, and they're probably not going to do that. And the other thing that is having a lot of success are the decoration lights, the Christmas lights, or even, like I've showed before, I just got a light that throws out a pattern, that looks like, underwater waves or something, and getting those lights and pointing them out towards the foliage. In other words, you're putting them out in the yard. So like if you've got, from your house to the wood line's 30 feet, you go out and put them out in the yard a little bit, because they got little stakes in the ground. And then basically, it's going to throw a pattern, and then you take the next, you'll have to buy 4 or 5, but they're, seriously, these things, $6, $7. And, I know everybody, some people are really pinched, but for most people, $6 or $7, something you can afford to buy 5 or 6 of them, or 7 or 8 of them, and you put them around your house all the way around, and you overlap them, so there's no gaps in the coverage. And for some reason, the Sasquatch will not cross that. And I think it's the main thing is, even if they were cloaked, that weird light pattern would cause them to really stand out like a sore thumb as they're passing through that light pattern, and that already bent light and skewed lights hitting them, and it's skewing them. They probably see their whole form. That has really has been having success as well. Of course, there's the spiritual solutions, which is rebuking, which has worked every time. As long as they're coming to you, they're invading your property, they're trespassing on your dominion, then the rebuking is also working. And I would use the two in combination. That's what I tell people. This is not a bulletproof shield, and it's not always going to make them leave. In other words, if you've got 100 acres and they're coming to the house and you put this up, you'll keep them away from your house or your buildings. But once you leave, and go out into the woods, it's a different story. It's just the way it is. Like, people kind of, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't make them leave. And you're not going to make them leave. They're not going to leave. Just like you can't make the bears leave, you can't make the birds leave, you can't make the foxes leave, you can't make anything else leave either. These things are out there, and, we just have to be vigilant and learn to live with them. Everybody's got their own coping mechanisms. You've got to learn, to live with these things, to be confident, but we're not going to be able to, quote, eradicate them or just blow them off your 100 acres. It's just not. It doesn't work that way. I wish it did, but it doesn't. But the goal is to keep them back, to make life tolerable. Where you can function and you can, you get a happy medium. Everybody has to have a happy medium. I got a happy medium. I know they exist. I know they're out there. They follow me around sometimes. Sometimes I have to leave and go to another camping spot. Sometimes I have to leave and go to another hunting spot. It's just the way it is. And I don't let it, it doesn't, like, rule my life. It doesn't, just overcome me. It's like, I just shrug it off and understand it's just, some days it rains. Need to rain. I don't let that, God, it's going to rain today, so I'm not going to go fishing. Well, I go on and fish and take my rain gear. And if it starts thundering and lightning, well, I'm not going to stay out in the lightning, so I'll come off the water until it quits. No difference than the Sasquatch, So I guess, everybody's been, and I get it, everybody's been conditioned, that, the wilderness is this innocuous, sterile place where there's no danger, and that's just not true. So, I hope that helps you. I'm not trying to get down on anybody, and I'm not. It's just, we've all got to learn to cope and deal with what's out there, and learn from each other, talk to each other. Please continue to send in ideals. If you've done something you found works to keep the Sasquatch back, from your property, that's great. I'd like to hear about it, and we'll keep on working this. If there's any Native Americans out there that would like to share some information about how you dealt with the clans or still deal with the clans from a standpoint of negotiation and making agreements, we need to hear that too. I'd love to hear that. That'd be helpful if we got the people in those situations. So just keep me in prayer. Be in prayer for our country. A lot going on, and I think I'll post a couple things here at the end. I found some footage from a few years ago that I like, and it's just interesting footage. I might go through a little, put it on here at the end, go through a little dissecting of that. It'd be fun. So you guys have a good evening, and hopefully I can get this thing posted before too long. I'll talk to y'all later, and y'all be careful. Okay. So thought we'd have a little fun. Let me set this little segment up. So back in 2010-ish, and I had a 480p camera, so don't write me no emails and tell me to get better equipment. I've already got better equipment. It's when I was poor and broke and had 4 starving children and taking care of a wife who's bedridden. So that ought to make you feel guilty enough not to write me an email, I hope. So I was leaving Smoky Mountains, going down a trail, and to my left was a ravine, and then it went up to a hillside. And I got that gut feeling I was being watched. Now the sun was kind of catty-cornered to my left, and so, when I threw up the video camera, it was like I knew I was being watched, but I couldn't see from where. And I had that little Sony Handycam and this tiny little screen. So I just started zooming in and out at different locations, kind of where I felt where something might be. Because the hair on the back of my neck was standing up, and I had the feeling I was being watched. And, fortunately, and I've been able to get a few captures of these Sasquatch people by doing this when they're looking at me, and just, because, sometimes you just have to, just kind of point the camera in the direction your gut tells you and zoom in and film. And the way the sun was shining, it was putting a major glare on the screen. So basically I would just zoom in for 2 or 3 seconds and zoom out, move over a little bit and zoom in and zoom out. Well, I zoomed into this one area, and lo and behold, this guy you're looking at right here was looking back at me. So what I want to do is there's only, about 30 frames that are worth anything. But I just thought it was interesting to kind of go through this. So here, basically, instead of just going through the whole spiel and having people say, where's the beef? I'm just going to show you the zoomed in, and basically when you zoom in with the old Handycam 480, it had a digital zoom. So, it actually, the resolution improved a little bit when you zoomed in. So I went full zoom and stayed there for 3 or 4 seconds and came out. And I did that in 4 or 5 locations. Well, in one of the locations, I captured this thing staring. It was in a laurel clump of laurels with a couple trees in front of it, and this is what I captured. Now that's the right eye, that's the left eye, and that's the nose, and he's got that raccoon looking look going on. And so I'm just going to step through this thing. So there, and as I step through, you can kind of see right there his eyes, that both eyes come in. There's his nostril right there, but there's like a branch in front of him right here, and he'll push that branch down like it's in his way of seeing me. Right there's a good one. Look at that. See that eye right there? That's his nose, that's his right eye, that's his left eye, and that's his upper right cheek. And that's all you can see of him. So as this thing's going through, now watch, see that? Watch this right here. Watch this get pushed down. So that's getting pushed down out of the way. Now we can see the nose better. Right and the left eye. You know, there's that raccoon look. Hair's kind of dipping down between his eyes. I'd say that's the top of his head over there. But so we keep going through. Now here's an interesting thing. Oh, it's pareidolia, Scott. It's pareidolia. Well, here's the problem with that. This frame right here, the sun, the camera, and he moves, and the sun glints off of both his eyes. See it right there? That eye and that eye. Look at that. Boom, boom. There's the glint. See it? I'm sorry, pareidolia doesn't have eyeballs that can reflect sunlight. So all you pareidolia weenies, and just go jump off a small bridge. Don't want to kill you, but just jump off that small bridge. So, and then if you look right here, you can see his mouth. There's his nose, his right eye and his left eye. Yeah, I'm probably being too frank. There's another good shot. You can really see his nose right there. And there's the best picture of his eye. See his right eye? You can see everything. See the sclera, you see his pupil. There's his nostril and his mouth right there. Look at that. Then here's here's the best close up. And then that's the best picture of the eye. See his pupil. There's sclera. There's his nose hole. His mouth's right there, and then in this one, that's the one where you can see the eyes glint. See, both eyes are glowing, picking up sunlight, and then there's the mouth right there, and there's the nose hole. There's the nose hole there, and then there's the nose hole there. And so there's full size blown up of his eyes shining. And then there's the best of his right eye. And I'll be honest with you, this is about as good as it gets, and people can pound their fist on the ground and scream and holler. But when you've got a extremely intelligent being that doesn't want to be seen hiding in thick foliage, I don't know what you people want. And so, but anyway, I'll go through it again. We'll go through it a little faster. We'll back up, because it's only it's like 27 frames, I think, maybe. So there's frame 0. So I'll step through it real quick here. Notice he pulls the foliage down there. There's his eyes shining. There's the best eye shot. And that's it. 37 frames. 30 frames a second. That's a little over a second. If you can get more than that, God bless you. See, there's where he's moving that foliage up and down. See it? See? Must have been blocking his view and he wanted to pull it down. So he pulls it down so he can see me better. Right there. Boom. See it? Boom. Boom. Two eyes. Collecting sunlight. How big was he? Have no clue. He was squatted down and you know, if enough people ask me to do a follow-up, I'll show the video and show where it was. In the past, I've done complete follow-ups and stuff on this. When I was doing my research, I'd go back to the same location, do exhaustive follow-up, go do measurements, do another video in the same location, show that there was nothing there, yada, yada, yada. And I ain't got the time or the patience for that. One more time. And there it is. Like I said, there's your money shot right there. Because when you goes there, mouth visible there, the nostril, the nose, both eyes. Like I said, he's got that raccoon look. And then we get that really good eye photo right there. You can kind of see, that looks like he's got a green mustache, but that's where that piece of foliage is, just mouth right there, and then the right nostril, bridge of his nose. So there's a little fun, something for everybody to kick around and talk about. Hope you enjoyed it. Y'all be safe out there, and we'll keep working on the Sasquatch awareness project and try to get as much information out to people that need it. God bless and take care.